Africa is on track to meet its own target of ending conflict by the year 2020, South Africa's International Relations and Cooperation Minister Lindiwe Sisulu said.
Sisulu says the continent has fewer conflicts now than it did 10 years ago and that African leaders are more involved in seeking solutions to its own problems. Speaking on the sidelines of the African Union Summit, Sisulu also told the SABC that the Southern African Development Community SADC had resolved to back the Democratic Republic of Congo's newly elected President Felix Tshisekedi.
She said the regional body respects the ruling of the Constitutional Court, which declared Tshisekedi the winner following a petition by the second-placed Martin Fayulu.
Over the last 2 days, the leaders meeting here in the Ethiopian capital have deliberated on conflicts in the continent and how best to stop forced displacements. The continent set itself an ambitious target of silencing the guns by 2020. But war and bloodshed is still rampant in South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, northern Nigeria, Libya, Central African Republic and parts of the Sahel region. Sisulu, however, says things are definitely better.
Equally peaceful, and regions have been taking responsibility for creating peace in their own environment. We have a more peaceful Africa now than we had 10 years ago. So our targets seem to be, at that time, optimistic, but very realistic now.
Sidelines of the meeting, the leaders also discussed the issue of slavery, past and re-emerging.
It is now our time, not only as leaders, but as the peoples of Africa, both on the continent and then in the diaspora, that we should be wide awake in the modern world and address the challenges that face the people of the world who were subjected to slavery. And that should mean, as our sister Lindiwe Fraser was saying, we should now focus on economic freedom, because underdevelopment, particularly economic underdevelopment, is a form of slavery.
The African Union's Development Agency, NEPAD, also gave a report on its reform agenda, which aims at integrating the continent through trade and infrastructure.
Of course, working structuring NEPAD as a development agency, just like the UNDP, will make it easier to really mobilize resources for fast-tracking the development within the continent. These cross-cutting infrastructure projects across the continent, because you see that there are several missing links which need to be plugged, and NEPAD will help to do this if they're able to mobilize resources.
The meeting also discussed ways of funding adaptation to climate change and received a report on the harmonization of education systems on the continent. Sarah Kimani, SABC News, Ethiopia.